Usopp, you're pretty fucked. So this week's One Piece definitely felt like a lot of just chaos. For the majority of the chapter, a lot of it was people are going crazy, they're slashing everyone, and it was just kind of giving you, I guess, a little bit of context as to what's going on the island, and how people, like, although you having the main cast, of course, and seeing what they're going through, you're getting to see what, like, other people are feeling, and just how people are just going nuts on this island. Doflamingo's plan has already been sprung into action. Hands down, the funniest scene of this chapter by far was Bartholomew just fucking jizzing there. You're Robin, you're the, and like everything, the way he describes it, I swear to God, he is, hands down, Bartholomew is like a One Piece tard, how they would be in this situation, like what they would be like. They would just be like, oh my God, and that's so good, King, ah! And I guess you could call it small characterization with Sabo saying, shut up, you maniac, what's wrong with you? So, like, that whole bit right there was just like overall comedy, and again, that's giving, you know, that's what Bartholomew would do, nonetheless, if he met them, so obviously that's how he was gonna react, but it was just fucking hilarious. Something interesting definitely with this chapter, though, is Doflamingo lists the people that he wants to, you know, take down, the people that everybody go and attack them. And at first you get like the names, you get the Luffy, you get the Law, you get, you know, the main Riku, King Riku, all these people, whatever. But I noticed that he had Sabo there, and he even had him revolutionary, you know, commander and whatnot. And I was just thinking to myself, like, so how does he know all this about Sabo? And, you know, why does he know this much? I mean, I'm sure he would know a certain amount of what's been going on or whatever, but I was just curious, was it that Pika's been listening, like maybe Pika could transform between the walls or something? That definitely got me a little bit curious. How does Doflamingo, even Sabo was like, well, why me? How does he know about me or whatever? So how does Doflamingo know about some of the stuff? Definitely something very interesting and possibly foreshadowing for the future of maybe some connections. Now, here's one thing about the chapter that I was just like, what do you, like, Oda, come on. He's trying to play it up for laughs, and it's supposed to be the comedic relief, but the whole shit with Usopp, like, as I said, this was a perfect opportunity for Usopp to be a star, to take the character development and run with it and really do some good shit. And after all these people were worshipping him, he just liberated people that's been slaves for like 10 years or more, you know? They've been captured and enslaved and just toys, and their freedom taken away. So they were calling him God. And then in this chapter, after he's the highest bounty, which at first, I'm not gonna lie, when I was reading that shit, I fucking was like in tears, almost laughing, like, because he was like, oh, thank God they don't know about me. And I was like, then, you know, his face pops up and I'm fucking laughing. I stopped laughing when I realized that all the people that were just worshiping him, like, oh, fuck you, you know, you're the biggest bounty, I could live for the rest of my life. And I'm just thinking to myself, they were just worshiping him. And he even says, you were just worshiping me. How do they go from that? And that would have been a pivotal key point to adding Usopp is like, yes, you know, he got his people, they're gonna go for him, they're gonna follow him, this is it. And then Oda just kind of like took it away, and it kind of made some of Usopp's progression within this arc and everything that he built up in this arc just a joke. And it's like, Usopp, yeah, he's supposed to be the comedic relief to a certain extent, but I just wasn't feeling, and I think it just threw a lot of what we just worked up with Usopp, even if it started off as a comedic aspect, and put it back into just straight comedy. Like, they were just like, fuck you, we're gonna kill you now. So I really wasn't fond of that particular part. It felt like it's taking Usopp and it's like 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And I was just, no. Also, Law realizes that, what the fuck are we gonna do? And I wouldn't be surprised if this affects Law's actions, because at the end of the day, if they take down Doflamingo, Kaido's gonna come after them. And he was bullshitting when he said, let's go after Kaido. He was not really taking it serious, because he probably, in his mind, thinks we really can't take out Kaido. So now that is actually becoming a realization, like, we might have to go and take out Kaido, which is kind of interesting. It's like foreshadowing, even though it started off as him trolling Luffy and using him, they might actually have to go against Kaido after this. So, interesting foreshadowing in a way, even though it started off as like a troll and Law using Luffy or whatever. But nonetheless, it might affect his actions with him not wanting to go that route, simply because, like, you know, we take out Doflamingo, then what the fuck are we gonna do? So he might try to do a plan, come up with a plan and do some sneaky shit so that they could defeat Doflamingo or get away from Doflamingo, and at the very least still not make an enemy out of Kaido. Maybe make some secrecy, I don't know what it is, but this is gonna affect his actions to a certain degree, because he realizes we're gonna, you know, have an enemy out of Kaido, and he don't want that shit. Fujitora, like, Doflamingo has all of you ensnared, he's threatening citizens, you're still after Law and Luffy, like, what? And Rebecca, still crying. That's my father, really? It's like you were crying against Diamante. You're crying, you're crying. Cry me a river. Cry me a river. And then Luffy proceeds to progress towards Doflamingo at the end of the chapter. Overall, this chapter, it had some subtleties, it had a little bit of setup, but for the most part, it was like a lot of it was reactions. People on the island are scared. Doflamingo listing out, you know, the hit list or whatever. So it was fine in a sense, but definitely there was some parts of the chapter that was just like taking Usopp's progression yet again, throwing it out the window. Rebecca crying. You know, there was parts of the chapter that was just really like, this felt more so like a transition type of chapter, but it also took some steps back for certain characters, and it was just like, when is Rebecca gonna finally, you know, woman up and stop the crying? And Usopp pretty much, so all of that shit of like all these people worshiping him, that's out the window now because they want that money. Which, why would people be so stupid if Doflamingo has you all ensnared, he lied to you for 10 years, he fucked around with you, but you think he's gonna give you that money? Like, logic. And overall, there was some interesting little setups there, possible foreshadowing. Maybe Doflamingo knows of Sabo. Like, how did he know exactly, you know, who he was and to write him down on the list? And also, like, him going after Usopp the most. It was just like some crazy shit, some funny shit, and there was some stuff that I was just like taking steps backwards. Give this one a 6 out of 10. It was fine. Did do some progression again, but just overall not feeling the Usopp stuff, and you know, a couple other issues with it. But let me know what you think. What do you think about Usopp losing his army after just obtaining it, like, you know, literally like last couple chapters? Do you feel indifferent about it? Are you pissed? Do you love it? You just don't give a fuck about Usopp at this point? You hate him? And do you think there's a possibility Doflamingo knows more of Sabo? I made a prediction, a crazy prediction, way back in the day of them possibly having some sort of relationship, but we'll just have to wait and see. And your overall thoughts of the chapter. But that's all I have for this review. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say, or you enjoyed the video, then leave me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day.